What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 126 of Littleroot Lessons. As always, I'm your host, Carter Noble, joined by our fantastic co-host, Carl Wilkin. What's up, dude?
In person. I
Yeah,
can reach out and touch you this
it's
time.
been like 2 months.
Yeah, it's been a while after you messed
See,
up your car.
Yeah, we moved, and then I hit a deer.
Yeah.
Ironically, coming back from Warrensburg, but not from your house.
Yep.
And then, so that busted out my front passenger light, and messed up my passenger door. So like, it was really awkward to drive with Tiff because she has to sit in the back, and that's just
it's
weird.
just weird, yeah.
And like the fact that I'm down to one headlight driving, when we come up, we're not normally leaving till like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock from your
midnight,
house.
Yeah.
So driving at night with one headlight on the road, I literally hit a deer on.
Yeah.
So
Understandably.
does not sound okay.
Exactly.
And then, of course, we've been in the process of moving and getting unpacked and organized and everything. And I'm sure it's been pretty apparent in like my video from home, just having boxes
Just
and junk
things,
in the
yeah.
background.
Just stuff just laying everywhere.
I've been today. I spent probably like 4 hours just cleaning and just sorting and organizing and pulling stuff in and out. And worst part is it needs like another like 5 or 6 hours worth of work done just to get organized. But
Do it all tomorrow.
I had to do yard work tomorrow because it's not going to be 100 degrees. Tomorrow's going to be like the first day in like 2 months that it's not killer weather outside.
I'm surprised you have any grass at all. Like most of my grass is dead.
Honestly, same. But what is like around the house where we just had junk everywhere is about 6 foot tall, just weeds. So I'm gonna go in and spray stuff down and get rid of insects and all that good stuff.
All the fun pests.
I would like to be outside and not be able to just be ate up in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So what are we doing today?
So
now that the life update is out of the way.
Yeah. So last week we did our restricted pairings, like tier list for worlds, tried to cover the most we can. This week we're going to touch on everything else.
Literally, not everything, but like everything that's actually viable in some capacity.
Yeah, things that like saw play at one point in Series 12, something that might still be useful.
Has
might
someone
not
slapped
be.
it on a team? We're probably going to talk about it.
We're going to try to.
So I think the official number you and I came up with is like 75 Pokemon we're talking about today.
75, 85,
something
somewhere
like
in
that.
there. It's a bunch of rows of 13, I guess.
A lot of Pokemon. So jumping right in, I figured the easiest way to do this is just start from the top and work our way to the bottom.
Yeah, we know where our stopping points are, right? Like we've already organized this list kind of.
Because like it has regular and G-Max forms of like all of those. And then there's just like a bunch of junk that's just like not playable.
Yeah, like there's Magnezone, there's Spiritomb, there's Darmanitan. There's 3 different Darmanitans on here.
And like like down here at the bottom you see stuff like Cinderace and Tyrantrum, and just like, yes, you can slap these on a team, but
let's be honest, you're not bringing those to Worlds.
Yeah, just don't. Like if Cinderace and or Tyrantrum win Worlds, I'll do something stupid. I'll let the community figure out the dumbest thing I can do and do it.
Well, there you go.
Because it's not going to happen.
Okie dokie. So, might as well start off with our Kanto trio here of G-Max forms. So, I think it's easy enough to kind of just slot some of these in places.
I think Venusaur and Charizard should probably go in the same tier. I think they're pretty interchangeable, with the caveat that like Venusaur can see play without Groudon, whereas Charizard typically doesn't. But like they also do extremely different things. So Charizard is almost always a Dynamax target.
Yeah.
Venusaur can be this weird support Pokemon with like sleep powder and other nonsense.
Helping hand.
Yeah. But like the residual chip that you get from both of their attacks is obviously very impactful, especially like if you're able to stall out your opponent's Dynamax or delay yours to where theirs is over before yours and then get off your residual damage so you're able to do that much more. There's a lot to really like about them. Obviously like Sun is one of the best archetypes going into Worlds. So like it's really hard to say these two mons aren't good. It's just a matter of like which one is better, and it really just comes down to like any given week they can flip flop.
So I'm viewing these more as in a vacuum, and I just know from just like past experience that Charizard is usually better than Venusaur when it comes to these Sun teams. The Venusaur is very flip floppy. It's very luck based. You have to hit your sleep powder. You have to hit your leaf storm. Charizard doesn't have to worry about that most of the time.
Charizard go burr.
The fact that like Sun boosts your already really good special attack even more. You're like able to OHKO things that you shouldn't be able to OHKO with blast with
I'm pretty sure in older formats there was a calc to OHKO Rotom Heat in Sun.
Probably.
Which is just absurd.
Like that's something you shouldn't be having to worry about. And that's why I think Charizard's just a step above Venusaur.
I would probably agree with that in all actuality. I think that, especially if you look at the Sun teams that have been floating around, most of them have been dropping Venusaur but still playing Charizard. Because, like, you don't need both.
Yeah.
And, like, when it comes down to it, which one are you really going to want? The one that goes turbo fast and occasionally does something? Or the one that, like, can boost its own speed and do a ton of damage and just like if left unchecked win you the game single-handedly.
There's a reason the Sun team that everyone's most familiar with, Renia Sun, plays Charizard and not Venusaur, right? There's a reason.
What's crazy about the Renia Sun team is you play Groudon, Charizard, and Incin and go, yeah, we'll beat Kyogre.
Yep, we can still beat Kyogre. That's okay. Poor Blastoise though just kind of got shafted, unfortunately. It's better than most Pokemon, but
it's just really hard to play Blastoise in a format where Kyogre is king. Like, it just...
Yeah. Like, if you're not playing Kyogre, though, I feel like you have to play Blastoise, because Blastoise just sits in front of Kyogre forever.
But, like, if you're looking at water types to sit in front of Blastoise, there are in front of Kyogre, there's way better options. There are options that are way more plentiful and way more played that also don't die to Eliki.
Yeah. But you can, with the Gigantamax Blastoise, you can survive hits from Eliki using Wakan or Assault Vest. Again, that Cannonade chip is important because most people aren't playing water types outside of Kyogre. That's the only water type you ever have to worry about, and if that's the only Pokemon that's not beating you up, the rest of your team can just make sure that Kyogre just isn't a problem anymore.
And like you can also take away Kyogre's weather with like
Hailstorm.
Firing off a blizzard and or icy wind just to change the Kyogre's weather.
Yeah.
Can be impactful. You also have access to Fake Out, which can be useful if you want. You have like Shell Smash sets you can do. I mean, obviously, like Venusaur has a lot working for it, but in a restricted format like this, especially one where Eliki and Rillaboom are very widely played as well, it's really hard to say, yeah, my water type's good.
Yeah, exactly.
So, speaking of things that like check Eliki, I honestly think Raichu's probably on the same power level as like Blastoise, honestly. It's fine. It does things, and when it does them, they're good, but it's not a Pokemon you're bringing to every single matchup.
Yeah. This is something you see like alongside when you have really big electric weaknesses. We've seen it next to Yveltal, we've seen it next to Blastoise. The Kyogre Yveltal teams play Raichu a ton because, hey, free Lightning Rod's good when you're both restricted to lose to Eleki and Thundurus.
Yep. The downside to Lightning Rod is Electro Web still hits your partner.
Yep.
Like, you don't get to redirect all of it, and
Nope.
that can be problematic.
Also, if you're playing like your own Thunder Wave, like on your Grimmsnarl or whatever, that also gets redirected.
I have done that many a time.
You are not safe.
I did that quite a few times last season in RTT, where I played Morgrim plus Rhydon. It's like,
Zoop.
oops. I think it's fine. That's about the best I can
Yeah.
say about Raichu.
Clefairy is
Again, when it's
it's
good, it's
weird.
great, but it's not very good very often.
Yeah, it's like you see it, and then we saw it for a little bit, and then it's just fallen off the face of the earth again.
It makes damage calcs for your opponent really awkward because in a format like this, where it's not very common, people don't have friend guard calcs just off the top of their head.
Yeah.
It's not something they prep for. So like that surprise factor can be enough, but in reality, I just don't think it's relevant.
Yeah.
95% of the time, it's not very relevant. I know Cybertron played a hyper offense team that had Clefairy on it, and like when Clefairy's good, again, it's insane. But finding that matchup where you can reasonably go, I can afford this. I can afford to essentially not have a Pokemon in this slot.
Yeah. Like Clefairy's fine when like trying to beat Dynamax, Gigantamax, like single target hits like that. When your opponent just wants to sit there and spam Water Spout and Precipice Blades, Clefairy, you eventually just lose both Pokemon because while yes you're reducing the damage, your Clefairy's also just taking damage unnecessarily.
Yep.
We can rapid fire a couple of these here. Alolan Persian, it was cool when it started. I just don't think it's very good now. Like,
yeah.
It's fast fake out, it's fast quash. It's got cool things with like fur coat, but being Zacian carrying things like Sacred Sword and Play Rough mean that it's just not super safe all the time.
Yeah.
So there's better options if you're gonna do like this kind of style of stuff.
It's fine. Arcanine is completely outclassed.
Yeah.
You're playing Arcanine because you like it.
Yep.
That's literally all I had to say about it.
In the realm of this tier list, it's probably near the bottom.
Yep.
There's not a whole lot that Arcanine can do that you really need right now, especially with things like Incineroar and other Intimidators in the format.
Yep. It's very simple. You're playing Arcanine because you like it.
Marowak's also fine. It's a great Zacian check, and it's good with like Lightning Rod. But
the downside is you die to Kyogre, you die to Shadow Rider, you die to
you
Lunala,
can live Shadow Rider hits.
I'm actually surprised.
My set, you can live Shadow Rider hits and Dynamax. You can eat Astral Barrages.
Interesting.
And then Oko them back.
Interesting. And then there's Sash and you're sad.
Yeah. That's why you always break the Sash. But you can live certain hits from Shadow Rider if you've invested in enough special defense because your defenses are still really good on Alolan Marowak.
Yeah.
It's just you're slower than everything else, so you really need that Trick Room to go up.
Yep.
Being a Fire Ghost type, it's cool typing. You're just really good into Zacian, and if that's what your team needs, it's great. Again, it's just not going to be played on every team.
I think Weezing's probably like the first one I want to slide into B.
Yeah, it's cool at being able to stop like your weather, your intimidates, and things like that.
This format's very much dominated by abilities.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's been true for the last several generations. Abilities are very good.
Yeah, who knew having restricteds and just intimidate and all that kind of stuff, just warping the format around it.
Even when you ignore the combo with Gigas, I think Weezing is still just a good Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like being able to have your Zacian come out, get a boost, bring in Weezing, and then take Weezing out and get a second boost is huge.
Yep.
The fact that you just turn off your opposing like intimidates and weather control and everything like that, I think Weezing really does have a good piece in this format that can make things really, really awkward for your opponent.
Not to mention you have Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, like on a poison type.
Yeah.
And that's like weird to say. You don't see things like that on most Pokemon that aren't Ghost, right?
Yep. It's really weird.
Like Ghosts are the ones like, oh, that thing gets Will-O-Wisp and Taunt and all these cool like pranks, like tricky moves. You just slapped them on Weezing, and now Weezing actually is like viable because it has a really good ability that turns off other abilities and can be just real annoying and interactive. Chansey, you're just a meme. Unfortunately, it's just like you play Chansey if you just really
want to make your opponent sad.
Yeah. Like it's cool, but
it's really bad in a format where Zacian plays Sacred Sword.
when they can just hit you, it's just not very good.
There was a team we were looking at stuff for Team of the Weekend, I came across a Chansey Eternatus team. No Shuckle, just like
just
Charm,
Chansey.
Ally Switch, Seismic Toss. I'm like, this is adorable and terrible.
Yeah. Gyarados. I would probably put Gyarados in D.
It's probably about as a man who's played Gyarados in this format, I would rather play Arcanine.
I would be on the opposite side of that because you still get to resist Behemoth Blade and you get to resist Sacred Sword.
Yeah.
You like while yes you are weak to Alecki, you rest of your team around that can usually solve that problem. And Gyarados still offers things that are unique to it. It has Thunder Wave of all things still.
Yep.
And you can be that kind of bulky utility intimidator with Thunder Wave and speed control.
Yeah, there was a lot I really liked about it. When I was playing it, I was playing Sash just so like I can take a hit from an Eliki or whatever and fire off a T wave and like hope that's good enough. But like overall, it's fine.
That's why it's in D and not higher.
D I think is still kind of generous, but like what you do isn't completely outclassed by something else.
Exactly. Lapras is another one of these like bulky water types that has a cool Gigantamax that unfortunately just can't really
keep
compete.
Up. Yeah.
It's another Pokemon that's really good at sitting in front of Kyogre. You don't really mind getting hit by electric type every once in a while. You have a very high natural bulkiness on your special side, so you're not too worried about it. The downside is your ice type makes you really bad into Zacian.
Yeah. Even as a neutral hit, it's still not great.
I believe there are lines that if you don't put enough in your defense, you still get O-code by Behemoth Blade.
Good. Awesome. Love it.
Aerodactyl. This was a menace for a little while.
I think it's probably on about it's probably D tier. I want it to be good, but it's not.
It was really good for a little while when you needed Unnerve and was trying to do stuff with that.
You have Unnerve, you have Tailwind. I believe you also have Wide Guard.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot that's really, really cool, and then you realize you're playing Aerodactyl.
There was a time when Charizard was just like tearing up the format, and people were using it as just like a Charizard answer, and that was fine.
Yeah.
The format's adapted since then, so it's not as great, but
yeah, it's cool. Like it has a lot of things that look really favorable for it, but it is one that has been power crept out of like viability in all actuality.
Snorlax is probably another one of these B tiers.
I would agree.
You do have to watch for Zacian every once in a while, but you do boast very good bulk. You have some cool utility moves, Yawn. You could do curse things. You could also just play the Gigantamax, Cuss Snap, blow people up kind of line with Belly Drum, if that's something you're really interested in. I think that's kind of outdated now with all the spread moves in the format, but Snorlax still by itself is still fine. It's not fantastic, but you can play it on teams to do certain things, kind of like what you need for Weezing every once in a while. More so than you would play like Raichu, Blastoise, and Lapras, I think.
Yeah, it's a thing that exists.
Yep. Regular Zapdos, Cantonian Zapdos. This is probably a solid A.
I agree. It's very, very good, especially when paired with Kyogre. Like this allows you to. The downside to playing with Zapdos and Kyogre is it leaves you a little weak to like opposing Gastrodon, which can be pretty problematic if you're not prepared.
That's why you play Rillaboom.
Correct. Or you also have like Zacian, which can just chunk it. But this gives you another form of speed control in like max airstream, so you're not reliant on like Prankster users for Tailwind or whatever. Zapdos naturally outspeeds Kyogre, so you're also like an opposing Kyogre check. Static is a really good ability because like randomly getting paras off on your opponent is great.
Zacian always has to make sure that they check when they're going to attack into you, because if they get paralyzed, then you just get to outspeed them.
Yep.
And you get to blow them up.
Roost for like extra recovery is insane. Your damage output with Life Orb's great. When you don't need Life Orb, you have safety goggles, so you can't be affected by like opposing a Mungus, because you can still get spored because you're not on the ground for electric terrain. So just being able to say, nah, I don't care about you is great. There's a lot to really, really like about Zapdos. It's obviously one of those Pokemon that like if unprepared for, can win your opponent games.
Yeah.
If you do not come prepared for like an opposing Zapdos, it can hurt you pretty bad.
Yep. Galarian
Zapdos
Zapdos. Probably
as a
somewhere in
Defiant
here.
user, it is outclassed.
Yeah, there's better Defiant users, which we'll get to later.
I want this to be good. It is one that you and I were really excited for when it was spoiled, and I honestly think this is probably down there with Arcanine. I don't anticipate anyone playing it other than they like it. I have a shiny, so I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, I mean, if you were paying attention anytime, like you should all have a shiny. I feel like it's fine in this format. I see it more often than like Arcanine. It does have a niche role with like fast coaching and things like that. It's a good partner Pokemon if you need something to beat Intimidate, but also has coaching. This is probably what you're looking for, up your alley. You're fast enough, like you're still really fast. If you put Scarf on it, you outspeed a lot of stuff, so you have some utility there. But it's just, it's one of those Pokemon that you play it when you have a really specific niche you need to meet, and otherwise you don't play it at all.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Galarian Moltres.
It's sick. I actually really like Galarian Moltres. It's probably on that same power level of like.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably C tier. Probably better than Raichu though.
You really want like a nasty plot boost to be able to really take your damage into overdrive. But like that requires you to be able to have a turn to set up, and in a format where Zacian and Kyogres and like all these things can threaten you on the other side, it's really hard to get that, especially in like a best of 3 setting. Like you compare this with a wide guard user, and then you don't have to worry about like Water Spout or Rock Slide or whatever on the opposing side. But then in game 2, they just don't click it.
Yeah, and conversely with that, it's just like you have a very high special defense anyway. So it's like you can usually Dynamax this thing if you're just not worried about the nasty plot and hope that they just put you to half and get your Berserk trigger. But nasty plot Galarian Moltres was really, really popular for a while. I think it's better as an AV target now.
Yeah.
Kind of treat it like a Yveltal.
It's
but
like
you get Spread Fire Wrath, which is just a better dark stab.
I think you could probably play like Scarf so you can outspeed opposing Kyogres.
And just
like, other
the
threats
Snarl.
and like try to Snarl or Fiery Wrath or whatever.
How fast is Galarian Moltres?
Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. It's been a very long time since I've actually played with it.
Because Kyogre isn't crazy fast. Don't mind me. I was doing hidden power calcs for Regieleki.
Stop it.
Well, they were talking about it in the Discord, and so I got interested. You can speed tie.
Naturally?
I think so.
Is Kyogre 90? That sounds right.
Yeah, you speed tie.
Okay.
If you're max speed.
So 156. I had to do math.
If you're putting Scarf on here.
We get to 234, which lets us outspeed Shadow Rider.
Yep.
But we still are outsped by Eleki.
Yeah, and that's why I think the AV sets are better.
Yeah, that's probably fair. And like just pair this with like a Tailwind setter or something.
Like Whimsicott.
Because then you get to outspeed Eleki.
Or you can just play your own Eleki.
True.
And just click E-Web. And hope you win the speed tie.
True. Or just max in front of Eleki and be like, give me my Berserk.
Give me. Yeah.
Give me. Oh, you click Thunderbolt. I'm dead. Got it.
I mean, I think if you Dynamax and they click Thunderbolt, I think you still live that hit.
It's probably not very good for you, though.
I mean, you want to go to under half anyway.
Yes?
Dragonite.
Dragonite sucks.
I think this is another D tier Pokemon. Like,
it's still better than Arcanine.
I think it's still better than Arcanine. It just doesn't do anything.
Dude, it's so sad because like when Ensign wasn't around, Arcanine was so good, and as soon as it was introduced, it's just like, all right, I don't want to play with you anymore.
That's not true. We both know that's not true.
But man, it not
feels
far
like
off.
It feels like it. There for a while, they were even running neck and neck all the way down.
Man.
And then Series 7 happened.
Yep. Like, all right, cool. Now I definitely
And now
don't
and
wanna
then the
play
dark
with
type
you.
actually mattered, so it's just like now we don't want to play with you anymore. Dragonite, just
You die to every dragon in the format. You die
you
to
die to
Zacian.
Zacian, you die to all the dragons.
You get smashed by Rock Slide. You get smashed by Ice Beam. Like, dude, even with multi-scale, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're just so frail.
If you can somehow like you can figure out a strategy where Dragonite can do well. I know there's a way to do it. I've seen people play with weaker things.
This isn't Unite.
Not that. No, if this is Unite,
Is it actually that good?
yeah. It is S tier, 100%.
But it's not.
It's not. So we're gonna put D Knight in D.
Alright. Kingdra's sick.
Kingdra was cool. We saw it for a little while.
It's like not the best Swift Swim user. But like when it's good, it's awesome. The fact that you're able to have like Wormwind for opposing Zacians to like hit their partner and have this pseudo intimidate for is kind of sick. Huge max power, like max geysers into whatever on your opponent's side does a lot. You have Airstream thanks to Hurricane. You get, am I making this up? Do you get grass coverage? Do you get Grass Knot? Or am I just like,
I think you're making that one up.
you get Flash Cannon.
Yes.
So like,
You have Max Steel Spike.
for some reason I swore we got Grass
You
coverage.
get Max Ooze and Clear
Alpha
Smog.
Clear Smog, which like can actually be relevant.
Yep.
Clear
Smog's-
Smog by itself can actually be relevant.
Yeah, Clear Smog's actually relevant in this format where stat boosts matter. But not being able to hit Zacian with your Clear Smog is kind of unfortunate.
Just hit his partner.
Well, that's not the part that matters.
Well, look.
Okay, so we're gonna go talk about P2 here. So
We do not get grass coverage.
I didn't think so. So I'm gonna put P2 in A.
P2's great.
The issue here is I don't know if you've been paying attention to World Cup statistics and whatnot.
I'm not.
I did a deep dive Friday talking about all that stuff.
Which I haven't been able to watch because we're recording in the future.
Yeah.
In
In the past.
Friday's the future for me.
Yes. P2 is doing terribly.
Well,
Trick Room in general is doing terribly. And I'm not sure as to why. Because we see it do well in certain situations in these bigger events, and for some reason in the World Cup, it's got one of the lowest win rates of anything.
Weird.
I believe it was for how many were played, it was definitely one of the lower win rates. Let me double check here. I know I had them somewhere. Dooba-doop. There it is. Maybe. So yeah, where are you?
I didn't see it.
There it is.
Here. Oh, there it is.
So it's got a sub 40% win rate.
Oh, that is terrible. Is that the worst on this list?
Yes.
It is.
It is.
By a lot.
Outside of whatever the heck this is. I talked about this too, which that's a different. That's a subject for a different.
Cali Groudon is weird. Okay.
But poor Porygon 2 here is one of the only Pokemon I think in World Cup usage that has over 10% that is sub 40 win rate, and it reflects that as well in the Trick Room matchups. We see Palkia here is at 43% win rate. Calyrex Ice is 45% win rate. These are not good win rates for a team that was appearing so dominant. And that's why I'm hesitant to put Porygon 2 in A tier right now.
But at the same time, man, it's just so good. It's again one of those mons that you just have to be prepped to play against because it's probably of the non-restricted mons, it's probably the best Trick Room setter.
Probably. Not having to worry about Urshifu anymore is a big upside.
Not being able to worry about Urshifu, being immune to Cali Ice, Cali Shadow is a big deal. There's a lot to really, really like about P2. The downside, like you just showed, it doesn't really do a lot of damage on its own.
Yeah, it can't win if you get it to by itself and you have more than one Pokemon left. It can't win a game.
No.
Not unless that other Pokemon is specifically Calyrex Shadow.
Even when it's a 1v1, it can still just not be able to pull it out.
Yeah.
Which, if you haven't watched last week's laddering video, go do so. It's hilarious.
I think I cut like 4 minutes out of it.
Oh god, you did, and that's the worst part. There was a period where I set Trick Room just so I could click recover.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter because I was asleep.
Yep.
And as soon as I woke up, I got frozen.
Yep. I remember all of that. Yeah, it's in a weird spot. It's probably one of the, if there was like a in between here, like an A- or a B+, it would probably be sitting there.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's on par with these two.
But I think it's better than everything below it.
Yeah.
I will agree with that.
Hitmontop,
great.
I like Hitmontop. I like it as like a B.
Yep.
It's not the best Intimidator in the format, but it's cool at what it does.
You get Fake Out, you get Coaching, you get Wide Guard, you get Feint. There's a lot to really, really like about Hitmontop. The downside is you are very frail.
Oh, yeah.
You die to a ham sandwich in this
You are
format.
just a paper bag. You can get punched through by everything. Everything's running max airstream.
I'm pretty sure everything above this except for P2 can one-shot it. Like, including Venusaur, which doesn't hit it super effectively.
Yeah. There's a lot that Hitmontop really needs to do well. But if you can line it up right, it's a good little Intimidator if you don't want to play with Incineroar.
See, so far what I've learned is everything in A tier is a format staple, and everything below it's just like, yeah, these are cool. You can play them.
Yeah, that's kind of what's going to happen here as we go through this stuff. Let's talk legendary dogs here. They all kind of fallen out of favor.
I think Entei is probably the best one just because like Sacred Fire is busted. Yeah, probably B tier, and then the others are probably like, I think Suicune is probably C, and then Raikou's probably D.
Again, it makes sense because bulky water types aren't great right now because if you want a bulky water type, you just play Kyogre, right?
And everyone has a billion answers for Kyogre, and there's 6 Pokemon.
That all being said, Suicune still does cool things, like a water type with Tailwind.
Is very cool.
It's unheard, like strictly water type with Tailwind is really, really cool.
The fact that you also have access to like Snarl and Scald, and like you can Calm Mind with this thing. There's a lot to like about Suicune. The problem is like outside of Calm Mind, you're not really doing a lot of damage. You don't deal damage with Suicune.
Yep. The other big thing is you can't really Dynamax this thing.
No, it is very bad.
Like, if you take away Dynamax, you never have to worry about it. This Pokemon jumps in popularity. It becomes so good. But the fact that it's a Dynamax format, you really want to be able to be flexible with your Dynamax options. And, like, there's just, like, Blastoise, Lapras, you can Dynamax, Gigantamax these things, and they still do the support thing when they're not. Suicune can't do that.
No.
When Suicune goes support, it's all in, and it's all it does.
Whereas, like, Entei, you have access to, like, Sacred Fire. You can be Scarf with Bulldoze to trigger a policy in that way.
Solgaleo and stuff like that.
You have access to, like, E-Speed to be able to, chip off an opponent, break a Focus Sash or whatever. You have Snarl. You have, I believe, Helping Hand as well. There's a lot that Entei is just like, yeah, this is great. I'm just going to chill.
The problem is Kyogre and Groudon just mow you down.
But, like, you also outspeed Groudon? Is that right?
Yeah, 100% outspeed Groudon.
Because Groudon's base 80? Or is it
No,
also
they're both base 90. They just Groudon doesn't care about speed.
Yeah, like, you're not playing a fast Groudon. If you do, well, please stop.
Scarf Groudon.
But, like, Entei hitting a Sacred Fire in stun against Groudon is gonna do a chunk.
Yeah.
Like, no joke, that's going to do a lot, and then there's like a 50% chance you burn, so I really like Entei. Raikou kind of sucks.
Yeah, Raikou's cool. Again, it's one of those, it's base 115. You slap a Scarf on this thing, it's stupid fast.
I've done it. I did that in Series 10, I think I was playing Raikou. I was playing Scarf Raikou as a check to Cali Shadow.
Probably.
You can just snarl him.
Yeah.
Like, stop it.
When the format is all about speed and getting your moves off first, Raiku's top of the tier with them. Now that the format's bulky and slowed down,
nah, it's good.
Yeah, you can keep your Raikou.
T-Tar's great.
Too bad it's terrible. This might be the other F tier Pokemon.
Dude, it's so sad because like if you go look at like Series 3, if you go look at like Series 3 tier list and look at this, you're just like, what went wrong?
What happened to put it so far down?
And the answer is
Zacian, Urshifu, Ensign, Hitmontop, like
the best part of best part of Tyranitar is you take away their weather.
Yep.
Which like doesn't even matter in the face of Groudon. It's like, all right, whatever.
Okay, cool. Sure.
I didn't actually care about that. Thank you.
And then Kyogre I think can still blow you up even with sand up, and it just doesn't matter.
Oh, it's so sad. It's just so bad.
Speaking of Pokemon that probably have flipped the script here.
But see, here's the thing. Tyranitar checks this. You said sand and they die, Carl.
Not all the time. Not all the time. But Shedinja's just great in restricted formats.
Agreed.
Like, everyone views this as just like a meme. It's not a meme.
No, I genuinely think this thing is very good.
It's at minimum A. Like, it is...
The problem is every team has an answer for it, right? But there it comes down to end games where your opponent has Kyogre Zacian, and it's just like,
I win.
You can't touch this.
Da, da, da.
I don't know what you expected at this point.
Yeah,
and even if you could, I still have my Focus Sash.
Yeah.
And Endure. We're gonna be here a while. Buckle up, boys.
Like, if you're wanting to make your opponent sad with Chansey, just play Shedinja.
Yeah,
that is my
actually honestly good advice.
That is my advice for you. If you really liked playing Chansey Shuckle and you want to make your opponent sad but do it in a better way for restricted formats,
go play the French Rain team.
Go play the French Rain team. Shedinja's great. Nino has been championing this team, I think, for like the last 2.5 months, I think.
Since the team came out.
Pretty much. Yeah. And that's all he's been playing, and it's cool to watch him do it. There was the meme running around, it was like Shedinja can beat Charizard. I'm not gonna get into it here. You can go check out his Twitter and find it.
Okay,
but it's cool.
Sableye's probably like C tier.
I was gonna say probably B. We're seeing it more as Weather Wars get more inclined. It's kind of like the Whimsicott of when you don't want to play Tailwind, so you play Quash and Sunny Day with this thing.
You get Quash, you get Sunny Day, you get Stab. You get Priority Will-O-Wisp, which is absolutely huge. You can do ally switch things to annoy your opponent. You get Foul Play, it's like you can punch your opponent really hard. Sableye's sweet. The problem is again, you look at it funny and it dies.
Yeah, you definitely just have to play smart with it. Yep. But it's still a solid B tier pick. Yep. Like, if you need a support Pokemon and you don't like Whimsicott or any of the other prankster setters, Sableye's probably got the spot for you.
You also get Trick and or Switcheroo. I can't remember which one it is.
One of them. I don't remember which one.
Which, like, that in and of itself can also be invaluable, being able to take away a Kyogre's life orb or whatever. Give them
steal whatever and give them whatever, yeah.
Or in the case of Aaron, steal their leftovers and then give it to your partner.
Yeah, there you go. That's the line. Torkoal. This is something that we've seen pop up again as like these dual weather teams start to get popular.
Torkoal is better than Tyranitar.
That's true. I will say that.
If we're talking about weather setters, where's Pelipper? It deserves to be down there with Tyranitar.
I don't think it was on this list.
Was it actually not? That's so sad.
Nope, it got removed. It wasn't even ever on this list.
Sad.
It had been somewhere in here.
Yep. Oh well.
Oh well.
Sorry, Pelipper. Just know that you are also down here in the F tier with everyone else.
Politoed was on this list. We'll just.
That's close enough.
Get you there.
The problem is Politoed gets Perish Song, so it's better.
Yeah, but you're not playing dual weather with Groudon. Torkoal, like I said, it's just a dual weather threat. Like, you don't want to play double restricted, so you play Torkoal.
Yeah, you still can do your Sunroom things.
Like, you get like Torkoal gets Body Press and Yawn. It's good under Trick Room, so if you're like your rain team dual weather team needs a Trick Room mode like answer, you have Torkoal to kind of just sit in front of stuff. Burning Jealousy is great.
Agreed. There's a lot to like about Torkoal.
Cradilly, it's the green Gastrodon, right? Like this is what everybody's like
but
memes about. It's just like
the
it's
difference
green
here
Gastro.
is you're weak to Zacian.
Yeah.
You don't check Zacian like Gastrodon does.
No, you are definitely weak to Zacian. It's cool. I think it's better than T-Tar and Arcanine still.
It's so sad, man. You can play it next to your Politoed and get those Storm Drain boosts.
Yeah, with like Surf. Milotic, again, it's just another Defiant one that kind of gets outclassed. It's another bulky water type.
Take everything we said about Gyaptos and the bulky water types, and now you have Milotic. There's really nothing else to say.
It's cool. It does very unique things with Coil and Hypnosis, and it's able to kind of just sit on the field for a very long time. But it definitely suffers from like all my friends are dead syndrome.
And then it's just like, okay, now what?
Yeah, like I was able to put one of your Pokemon to sleep, but I'm by myself.
You KO'd all 3 of my partners.
So now what do I do?
This is really sad.
Yeah. Dusclops, get down here. Like in the world of Shadow Rider, you can't use Dusclops anymore.
No. In the face of Shadow Rider and Ice Rider and
Yveltal and
let's see, Lunala's ticked up in popularity.
Yep. Urshifu Single Strike is still a thing.
You can still get punched. Tyranitar's good into you.
Like everyone's playing Dark type coverage to beat Shadow Rider, so you're just never safe.
You also just like are really sad when your opponent clicks taunt.
Yeah. Because you're usually just all support moves.
Yeah. It's bad.
So Salamence is another one of these weird intimidators that can be in probably B or C.
The fact that you aren't weak to Eliki, I think, is a big deal, but like it's still neutral. I'm debating if I like it more than Gyarados.
I like Salamence more than Gyarados. Salamence is faster than Gyarados.
Yeah, but Gyarados is cool looking.
Salamence also gets Brick Break.
Yeah, but Gyarados is cool looking.
Which when we were looking for Team of the Week teams, we were also talking about Salamence a little bit. It's got Breaking Swipe, Brick Break. It's got these cool utility moves that you can still like Dynamax this target too and actually do something with it if your opponent just doesn't have a Zacian.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not the best Intimidator by a long shot. But
that's why
fine.
it's down here in C. I think it's the only Intimidator in C right now.
Yep.
Yep.
There's one in B through D. F.
Yeah, I think there's one in every tier right now except for A and S, which we'll get to that.
We'll get there when we get there.
Metagross,
It sucks.
You did not stand the test of time.
I'm so sorry, buddy. You were so good for so long. And then Shadow Rider came around, and then Yveltal got good again, and now Lunala's back for some reason, and now Groudon's here, and you also can't take hits from Kyogre. I can keep going if you want.
No, we're good. It's like we understand why this thing's not played, right? Like, and there's also just a restrictor that does its job better.
I think this is another one that probably deserves F tier.
You could probably put it in F tier. It's another one of these Pokemon that you just don't play it. Just don't.
No, just stop it.
Like,
go play Zacian.
Like, if you need a Steel type, there's a million Steel types that are probably better than Metagross right now. Reggie time. No one's talking about Reggie Ice because it can go away.
Regice is real bad. Regice is really, really bad. The best thing about Regice is you have Clear Body, and that's not even like a selling point to play it.
Regirock's cool. Rock type coverage in general is really good. It's very bulky. You're weak to Zacian.
Which is why I like it down in D, and I like Registeel up in C, because you're not weak to Zacian.
Yeah.
The downside is now you're weak to Charizard instead.
One answers Charizard, one doesn't. One's not weak to Zacian, one is.
So, like...
I mean, you're technically weak to Zacian still with Sacred Sword and whatnot, just ignoring all your...
You can't Iron Defense up in front of it like you used to be able to. They're both not really good.
Yeah.
They're better than Regice by a mile,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
why they're getting talked about.
And
Regice isn't.
Jace isn't. Yeah. The Lati twins.
I think they're probably both about. Yeah.
I like that one B, and then this one probably C.
Which one's bulkier? Is it Latias?
Latias has better special bulk. Latias also has Tailwind.
Do they both not have Tailwind?
Yeah, they both don't have Tailwind.
Today I learned.
Latios does not get Tailwind. It's
Dude,
only Latias.
That can't be right.
Yep.
That's so weird. Yeah, it does.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, that's news to me, because
Huh.
it hasn't before.
According to Showdown, it does, so either I'm wrong or Showdown's wrong.
I mean, Showdown can be wrong.
Yeah.
But usually it's not.
Yeah, I don't know. They're both not very good.
I like Latias more than I like Latios.
Yeah, extra bulk is good.
Yeah.
They both have the same speed, so like that's not a concern, right?
Ow. Yeah, they're both the same speed.
Both 110.
130 special defense versus 130 special attack. Which you only ever want the support
You also
stuff.
have plus 10 in defense as well on Latias, so that's relevant. Yeah, okay. You talked me into it. Gastrodon's very, very good. I think this is another one you could potentially slap into S.
It's close, but not quite. Gastrodon was good when Kyogre teams weren't ready for it. Now everybody's ready for it, right? It's one of those Pokemon that you can easily counter this thing by just keeping your grass Pokemon in the back waiting for it.
Yeah.
Like it's
Rillaboom
not
hard checks this thing. You don't particularly line up against a lot of the restricteds well.
I like Zacian specifically and Kyogre, like the two big ones that you just
You beat up on Crystal Rain, which I do think is one of the best teams going into this weekend, or not this weekend, into Worlds. But at the same time, those teams I think have also adapted to be able to beat Gastrodon, especially at such a high level. People are going to be prepared for Gastrodon.
exactly.
So yeah, I think A's probably fine. Had this been about a month ago, I probably would have slapped it into S.
Yeah. Had Worlds been in early July instead of early August, and we didn't have a whole lot of it like time to prep for stuff like that, I think Gastrodon would be much higher. But it is definitely not as good as it was a few months ago.
Man, I'm so ready for Series 13.
I don't even know what it's gonna be.
I don't even know what it is, but I'm ready for something new.
Bronzong. This is better Registeel
By a mile.
by 100%, just 100 miles. Being able to resist Behemoth Blade, neutral to Sacred Sword,
And immune to Precipice Blades.
yeah, it's just so much better. You still don't take things from Kyogre very well
No.
because you don't have any special defense investment, but that's what Slowbro's for.
But at least you get Ally Switch.
Yeah. Nah, if you want a good thing to like, if you want the version of this that's good into Kyogre, play Slowbro.
Yeah, it's fine.
Slowbro's much.
Slowbro's not even on this list.
No, it wasn't even on this list.
Oh well. Garchomp sucks.
Garchomp's okay. It's just not great. It's
Yeah.
another one of these pseudo legendaries that gets pushed out of the format.
I'm noticing a very big tier in our F tier here. Pokemon that have been good in previous generations that now kind of suck.
Who knew that printing a steel fairy type that just blows people up is really good into most of these pseudo legends?
That is also absurdly fast for some reason.
Yeah,
It's only a dog in armor. Why would that not be fast?
exactly. Riolu is something we've seen a little bit. It's another one of these niche like prankster Pokemon. It's
I
not
love
like
Riolu.
I don't think it's like
It's not Sableye.
Sableye good, but it's if you need coaching, it's there.
Coaching, like prankster coaching, is absurd.
Yeah,
The fact that they gave this thing coaching, it just makes it so much better.
yeah.
I genuinely think they should not have and just give it to Lucario. Like I know that's probably dumb to say, but like, how is a baby coaching you?
Exactly, right?
This thing can barely walk on 2 feet. How are you learning things from it?
I think the big thing here is we're not going to probably have coaching in the next games if Riolu's in it. And
I don't know,
so,
maybe.
I don't know.
I like coaching.
I think coaching was cool. It's just there were much better tutor moves that kind of put things like coaching and burning jealousy out of the way. Cough, cough, grassy glide. That's the one everyone knows, and that's the one that's the best one because priority in a grassy terrain is really good.
Maybe we should just get rid of Rillaboom. Or just like remove Grassy Glide from its like move pool.
And that's what I was saying is like if they remove the tutor like the sword and shield like Isle of Armor tutors, it's not a problem anymore.
Make Terrain Pulse good. It's such a cool move, and it sucks that it's bad.
So we only kept Weavile on this list so we can talk about Sneasel.
Because Sneasel wasn't on the list, but it's also very bad. You play it next to Colossal, and it's still not good.
Sneasel gets to do fast beat up, fast fake out, inner focus, cool.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's got fast fake tears that you can't really stop unless you just blow it up. But if it has Sash, then you have to be faster than it on both Pokemon. So, long story short, Sneasel's better than Weavile. Weavile belongs in F.
Sneasel probably is up in D tier strictly on the fact that it can't be fake outed.
Yeah, that and it's just a Sneasel.
Yeah.
So Togekiss saw some play a little bit too. I think it's better than Clefairy because it's just like immune to ground.
Yeah, which is relevant.
But again,
it's fine.
It's not the greatest. It's not terrible by any means of the word. It's not doing what it did in series 2 through 6 or 5.
So here's the thing. Eliki didn't exist then, and that makes Togekiss sad.
Yeah. Also, we didn't have like half the steel types we do now.
But it's okay because if you need a Eliki check, you have Mamoswine. So clearly, these two together are an unbreakable duo that definitely don't die to a dog carrying a sword.
Yeah. Mamo's got a lot going for it though. It's like you're immune to Intimidate. You get to answer opposing Incineroar really well because you just don't care.
Yep.
Bop.
You're also like an okay Dynamax target. Getting Max Quake boost is good.
Max Quake, you get access to decent, like, I believe you get access to Max Knuckle through like Superpower or something like that.
That sounds fine.
So if you wanted to just boost things attack even more, you can do that. But it's just another thing that loses to Zacian. Just can't quite keep up.
Oh, PZ, how I wish you were good.
So this thing actually was decent for a little while. Kind of. They were cool, like, utility sets that could still Dynamax and blow stuff up, but you had Trick Room to be your max guard. Kind of like how you would play Trick Room on Bronzong on your, like, Ground on your Yveltal teams. You weren't really trying to set Trick Room. You were there to just kind of reverse it and help you kind of play that utility game. And Porygon Z was kind of doing the same thing. Hype Max Strike off a Life Orb adaptability Porygon Z is still really good.
It still chunks things.
Yeah. It's just too bad that Zacian is a problem.
Which is why we have Rotom Heat.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Of the Rotom forms, I think this is still currently the best one.
Yeah.
Like, granted, you're not, like, great in the Kyogre, but you're not playing Rotom Heat to beat Kyogre.
No.
You're playing Rotom Heat to beat, like, Venusaur, Zapdos, and things like that.
Charizards.
Yeah. You can Dynamax in front of Charizard and still feel fairly safe.
It beats Shedinja, so, you're good there.
Yep. Rotom Wash, you can just kind of stay down here.
Yeah. You're better than Bambo, and that's not really saying much. You're not weak to Zacian. Congratulations.
Gigas needs Weezing to do anything. I think it's still fine. Like, if it's kind of like Colossal. If your opponent's not prepared for it, Gigas can tear through your team.
I agree. It is something that, when left unchecked, Weezing takes over the game because, like, Gigas gets to do its thing.
Yeah.
But, like, without Gigas, Weezing's still just a fine Pokemon.
Yeah.
Without Weezing, Gigas is very, very, very bad.
I wouldn't say very bad. You still do stuff.
You get Wide Guard, which is cool.
You can still do stuff and eventually get to the point where Slow Start gets to turn off and you get to do your thing again. But
in the meantime, you've been intimidated 3 times.
Yeah.
So
that depends on if your Intimidator's still around. Whimsicott. we love
Whimsicott's probably S tier.
we love our little cotton ball here.
Oh, I love him. It's so adorable.
One of the best prankster Tailwind users in the game, hands down.
If you want my opinion, it is the best. I like it more than Tornadus, but I might also be biased because this thing's adorable and Tornadus is ugly. Like that's just a fair statement.
Whimsicott also just gets like weather control with Sunny Day. You get Cotton Spore for speed control.
You get Charm, Encore, Taunt.
There's the whole move pool of Whimsicott is very good a whole lot of the time, and there's just a million things you can play. Switcheroo.
You get Trick Room.
Yeah.
Like,
and granted, you're not doing anything crazy with Prankster Trick Room, but still, you have Trick Room
that exists.
So like Whimsicott's, there's a trend here. It's just like, oh look, the thing that's good next to Charizard's an S tier Pokemon, but it just does more than that.
Agreed. It's sweet.
Gothitelle. This one feels like a solid B.
I agree.
Goth
is great.
When we saw it a little bit on camera way back, it was
it wasn't on Jeremy Rodriguez's team, but he played against it, right? It was on camera.
It was on camera multiple times near the end of May going into June.
Because it top 4 that tournament, or did it make finals?
I think it top 4'd.
I think it lost to Jeremy. I don't remember. That was like 2 months ago.
Who knew Shadow Tag was still good?
Shadow Tag next to Zacian's really good.
When you can't run away, you're kind of stuck and just have to eat your lumps.
Yep.
Amoonguss.
Amoonguss is great.
Another one of these A-tier grass-type spore sleeper Pokemon.
Yep, it's great. Play Focus Sash, play Quick Claw. Pick one. They're both good.
Oh, we skipped a Pokemon. Oh, I guess I could talk about Jellicent.
No, we didn't skip one.
No, I meant to put one down below.
Oh.
Jellicent is, I think, fine. It's still...
It's water absorbed.
It's water absorbed. You're fine into Zacian because guess what? You're immune to Sacred Sword. You
also get Strength Sap and Will-O-Wisp.
Yeah, like...
both of which are very relevant.
Again, it's just one of those bulky water types that kind of really don't like seeing Alecki and Thundurus and all that. But
yep, it's fine.
You also kind of just get to eat it against Calyrex Shadow because you're a ghost type.
I love how there's just like a clump of water types. It's just like, yeah, they're all interchangeable. And then there's Gyarados.
There we go. now we're good. Ferrothorn. I would call Ferrothorn B.
Yeah, it's fine. When it does things, it's really good.
Yep, it was really good on the Crystal Rain team for a while when you really needed to beat Gastrodon. This was the best thing you could do because you get to underspeed it in Trick Room if that goes up and get to play that game.
Up in front of it and punch it. Hydreigon sucks.
I wouldn't say sucks.
It's pretty bad.
It's better than most of these Pokemon.
That's not really that much of a statement.
I mean...
Riolu gets coaching. That's really...
The thing is, that's all Riolu does.
It really is.
Like,
copycat Trick Room.
If you took away the Dynamax thing, Riolu's just literally just coaching
really
pop.
Yep.
But like Hydreigon it's still Levitate. It's a good check into Kyogre and Groudon. Being able to resist Water Spout is still good because you slap AV on it. You just have to make sure that you play around Zacian, which half these Pokemon are. You make sure you play around Zacian.
Just make a read and flamethrower it on the switch in.
Speaking of very good Zacian checks, I think this is probably one of the second best redirector in the game.
It's sick. I love Volcarona. I like Amoonguss more, but you know.
Volcarona gets to sit there and burn Zacian without having to lift a finger.
Yep.
It's like, hey, come attack me. I resist everything you got. Come on. Come on.
Literally everything you want to do, I ignore.
Like, come on, hit me.
Agreed.
I kept Terrakion because Terrakion is still like the good beat up Pokemon.
Yeah, you can play it next to Whimsicott and get got every now and then.
That's about it.
Yep. Tornadus is probably another S tier. I think it's S tier worthy. You're gonna see just as many Tornadus as you are Whimsicott, I think.
I think it's A because Whimsicott is just the better version of Tornadus.
It's also faster, so you can taunt Tornadus.
Exactly.
And then your Tornadus is sad.
So like Whimsicott, if Whimsicott is S, Tornadus is A because Tornadus always felt like a step down.
Yet for some reason people think it's better.
I don't know. Thunderous Therian. This is another one of these weird middle of the pack Pokemon. Good into certain things. Is really niche. Volt Absorb is really, really cool. Like, most people's like checks into Thunderous is usually an Alecki, and being able to just say nope.
Or Zapdos. Like, Zapdos is another one.
Like,
there's a lot that is like okay here. But if we're talking Thunderous, I would much rather play either Prankster or Defiant.
yeah, which is the next one.
Like, the fact that this thing has two very relevant abilities that play completely different from each other makes this thing a menace, because you have to make that like distinction of what their opponent is going to do in team preview, and if you guess incorrectly, you die.
Yep.
Like, oh, you led Kyogre plus Zapdos into it, anticipating it to be defiant. Cool, eat this Eerie Impulse.
Yep. Here, have a Thunder Wave. Yeah, like Thunderous Incarnate is just very, very good.
It's insane.
It is probably one of the most the Pokemon that has the most benefit from both Dynamax and just the format in general.
And like, static speed tiers make this thing insane. Like, the fact that you're able to T-Wave something, and now suddenly they don't get to attack you until the end of the turn is huge.
Yeah.
This thing's great. It's so insane. I've played with it the last couple days. I've just done a little bit of laddering, and I played Thunderous, and it's just like, this thing's really, really good.
Yeah. Who knew, right? The other Genie, Landorus Therian here, it's still really good.
It is the second best Intimidator in the format.
Yep.
That's the best thing I can say about it.
Yep. I think every tier is going to have an Intimidator here soon.
Yep.
Talonflame.
It's a Pokemon.
It is a Pokemon. I think if we're like looking at Tailwind setters, it's a little better than Latios, but it's like probably in the same area.
The problem with it is there are so many different forms of speed control in the current format that, like, Prankster, or +1 priority to your Tailwind on a Pokemon that's all it does, isn't useful.
I mean, Talonflame has like, more going for it than just.
It's obviously very good, and like, when being able to outspeed your opponent is obviously a huge deal, which is why we see Tornadus and Whimsicott way up in the rankings. The problem with Talonflame is like, Gale Wings is conditional.
Yeah, they definitely took the bat to that,
which I am so grateful for.
Yeah,
max priority.
We did not need plus. Yeah, we did not need that in this format.
Okay, but like, hear me out. Now I want to try it.
No.
Hey, Instin's really good. I genuinely don't think we can talk about how good Instant is. It's the best Pokemon in the format.
Instant's the only Pokemon to get 2 deep dives. There's a reason for this. Instant is just that good.
Yep.
Mimikyu's cool as like a Trick Room setter.
It's like the second best Trick Room setter in the format. Probably third. I think I like Goth more than I like it. Okay, so fourth, because Whimsicott has Trick Room.
Yes.
It's fine.
Disguise is still a really good ability.
Yep, agree.
You still
just
get
watch out for Sogoleos.
Yep, which...
Congratulations, you played against a Sogaleo.
Yeah, you enjoy your free win for the most part. Tapu time. Let's knock some of these out here.
Bulu sucks.
Coco's probably a solid B.
Lele's worse than it.
Bulu, get down here. Lele's probably a solid C. If I had to put one in A, I think it would still be Feeny.
I think Feeny's really good. I like this.
Feeny's the only one that is going to consistently see play because, hey, did you know status is a thing?
Yep.
What happens if you can just turn it off? You win more games that way. You take a lot of the variance out of the game, and means if you're just a better player, you're going to win the game.
Having access to Mist is also like huge.
Oh yeah, I know that tech has become amazing. Ultra Beast time, I guess. Nihilego saw a lot of cool play in the single, like in the Series 9 format.
It's fine.
It's cool. Like, it's a cool Trick Room setter, but that's about all it does.
For most, I think it's a meme.
Yeah. Celesteela's probably a solid B.
Yeah.
Being able to resist steel is really good. You're neutral to fighting. You resist fairy.
You also have Meteor Beam, which is just like pretty
Like
great.
you have there's multiple sets you can play. You can
Mhm.
play the AV. You can play the stall with leftovers. You can play the power herb meteor beam set.
And again, like this is one of those mons that like if you call it incorrectly, you can just die to.
Yeah,
Very
100%. Kartana's one of these another just grass type that just sits in A.
Yep, I think it's good.
It's fast, answers Kyogre well, answers Groudon well.
It's one that suffers really badly from any kind of status condition into it.
Yeah.
If your Kartana gets status, it's just dead.
That's why you play Tapu Fini.
It genuinely doesn't matter which one.
Yeah.
Frozen, obviously you're a dead man. Burn, congratulations, you do no damage, you're dead. Paralysis, you're now outsped, you're dead. And sleep, congratulations, you're dead. Like,
which the only way they're gonna sleep you is yawn. So,
Sir, hypnosis is an attack that I will miss a lot.
yeah, I'm about to say you can definitely try to hit that. The fact that the most popular hypnosis setter gets outsped.
Yeah, you get punched.
You just get punched. Okay, I'm gonna put this probably in here.
In reality, Blacephalon is so cool.
Blacephalon,
Disco Clown is so hot. I love it.
If you remember the deep dive right before NAIC, the one I live streamed, I went in real particular looking at the Blacephalon because I was so intrigued from that laddering team I played, and I found out that this thing's crazy. Like there's some crazy things that Blacephalon can actually do in this format besides just being a very good, just like I'm gonna sit in front of your Zacian, what are you gonna do about it? Because
go look at you funny.
You're not gonna really do anything to me. I resist Behemoth Blade. I may be frail, but I just have other things I can do. And if you're focusing my Blacephalon that's also trying to kill itself with Mind Blown, I'm okay with that.
This is what Chandelure wishes it was.
Oh yeah, 100%. You also get some just weird coverage. You get Rock Blast.
I think I knew that.
Fun fact: it takes out Charizard with Life Orb.
I did not know that one.
So because you're multi-hit with Life Orb, they'll eat the berry for the first one, and then you just get to keep snowballing. Yeah. So if you can hit an average hit, it'll take out the Charizard and die in Gigantamax.
Awkward.
Yeah. It's really cool, and it does a lot of cool things. Mind Blown in the Sun is just one of the best things you can do with it, though.
Yep. Blow them up.
We're into Gen 8 now.
Rillaboom's insane.
Get up here.
We've talked about Rillaboom a lot. It does a lot. Fake Out's really good.
Grassy Glide's really good. Grassy Terrain's really good.
Cool. I think we covered it.
It gets more than that, but that's the highlights.
You get Knockoff, which is like dumb.
Knockoff, Snarl, High Horsepower.
I did not know you got Snarl. That's ridiculous.
Colossal.
Colossal wins tournaments, and I don't know how.
I'm gonna put it in B because I think Colossal wins tournaments because of who's playing it rather than what the format around it. The reason Colossal's winning games is because you also have just like Yveltal Zacian, and the things that are good against Colossal aren't good against Yveltal Zacian.
This is the weekly segment where I just shit on Colossal for another like 2 minutes.
We ain't got that kind of time.
Alright, that's fair.
Hatterene.
It's good with Riolu.
There we
go. Nailed it.
This is is this the last S tier? This is probably the last. No, there's one more. Grimmsnarl.
I hate it. It's as much as I have this persona of hating Cole, I genuinely hate Grimmsnarl in every possible way.
So I have bad news for you. So Hatterene is pretty much was shown off in Scarlet and Violet trailers. So we might get Grimmsnarl because Grimmsnarl is the co-partner between the games for it.
Stop it.
I'm just letting you know that Grimmsnarl might be in Scarlet and Violet. Might be.
No.
Indeedee. Female, specifically. Follow me.
Yeah, it's probably like A or B tier.
I think B. I think B right now.
You're not seeing it next to Cali Shadow like you were at the beginning of the format or in the older formats.
Hey, who knew when you can't redirect the water spout?
It doesn't matter. Dragapult sucks.
Oh, the mighty have fallen. Oh my goodness.
Go down there in F tier.
No, it's better than that.
It's good because it has surf.
It's better than that because it's outspeed still. It outspeeds a lot of things still.
The problem is you also get outsped.
Yeah, it's like the things that outspeed you just blow you up. But you're still faster than a majority of the format, which is
Clear Body's also still just like a really good ability.
Yeah. Single strike, rapid strike.
Yeah, that's fair.
As much as I really like rapid strike, I think I've cracked the code and it's really really cool. Single strike's still just better.
Yeah. Single strike punches really hard.
Like you're only like really have to watch out for the fairy type moves, and other than that, you can really punch stuff and just deal a lot of massive damage. Whereas the rapid strike, it's very subjective on when it's good and when it's not good. Whereas single strike's going to be good probably the majority of the time. Do you want to talk about the horses?
Sure, they're fine.
I mean, like they're
worse than their restricted pair, but
yeah, they're probably both C tiers, honestly. Like they have niches, you can play them in certain spots, and that's about it.
I ran into a Glastrier the other day while laddering. It was cool.
Yeah.
And then it died.
Yeah. That's kind of what happens now.
Did you know Glastrier real bad into opposing Zacian?
Who knew? The last S tier Pokemon, if you haven't guessed, is Regieleki.
Yeah, who knew this? Everything that we've said so far about why bulky waters are bad. Like, yeah,
there's a reason
Eleki make water types invalid.
There's a reason one of the only water types in A tier is a water ground type.
Yep.
And the other one is Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini still doesn't like Regieleki. Fun fact.
No, not really.
Is there any shifting you want to do now that we've had this stuff lined up?
Man, F tier looks so sad.
I know.
It's so disappointing because I love all of them, and it's just like, oh man,
this is Pokemon Carter.
It's just like I want to play these, but I know I can't. That's not true. Blaziken's not on the list.
Pokemon Carter likes. There we go.
Yeah.
That's the new F tier.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's a whole lot down here still that we didn't really cover.
And honestly, I don't think basically none of them are relevant.
The only ones I think could be kind of relevant are maybe like Goodra.
Goodra's fine. Bisharp is okay. Like, again, it's just outclassed as a Defiant Pokemon.
They would end up down here somewhere.
Lando I is like bad because you can't really Dynamax it. Serena's okay. I actually think Serena's like an okay Pokemon in all actuality. Queenly Majesty's kind of busted. Scarf Darm punches things. That's about the best I can say about it.
Yeah, there's nothing a whole lot really here to talk about.
Reggie sucks.
Yep, we talked about that.
Magnezone is a Pokemon.
Yeah, it's
cool.
sad.
Oh,
Sylveon was good, and now it's not.
Yeah.
Buzzwole is going to be good in Unite, and that's about all it's ever going to be good in, probably.
Is it just bad in singles too?
I don't remember. I don't play singles.
Yeah, I don't care to. So like, who cares?
Okay.
This is cool.
So yeah, there you go.
Official, definitive. Way too early to actually speculate tier list.
Yeah. I would expect to see anything in the S and A tier at Worlds, 100% of the time.
If you told me that every Pokemon in S and A top cut, I would not be surprised.
Exactly. Like, I would also not be surprised to see a couple of these B tiers in top cut or day 2. Same with kind of like some of these C tiers. Once we start getting into like the low C and into D, that's when we start seeing like, oh wow, there must be something cool that it's doing. And
I'm ready for Politoed to win Worlds.
I am ready. I will be very happy if Politoed wins Worlds.
I can't wait for someone to bring Incineroar. To bring Arcanine just because you and I talked about how bad it was. Like, well, I had to prove those two guys wrong now.
Yeah, we had
wrong
to.
on the internet.
Okay, so with that out of the way, we have Team of the Week still.
Yes.
Team of the Week here. So we went digging on VGC pastes again because Everyone keeps submitting Lunaludon.
And I'm like,
We can only play so many Lunaludon team guys. Like we can only play so many of them in a given time span because as much as we love playing some user submitted teams, if you all submit pretty much the same restricted pairing and like a few changes here and there, it's not a different team.
so instead I went to Twitter and stole Quiver Dancers.
This was from Vancouver, if I remember correctly.
Sweet.
This is the team that they played in Vancouver. I don't remember the finish.
There's a lot of really cool things on this. I think they, I think 3-2 or 2-3 drop, 2-3-2 drop.
I don't know.
I don't know, but this thing's cool because we have Lurantis and Cofagrigus, and like none of those are like seen ever, and that's really cool. Like Cofagrigus as a Trick Room setter is pretty interesting. The fact that you have Mummy to take away like opposing abilities is also really sick. And the fact that you have Fake Tears just to be able to bot people under Trick Room is kind of absurd. Like, I love this Cofagrigus set, and I'm really excited for this to be cool.
Finished 3-4, 81st out of 116.
Interesting. Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
Just want to make sure we got that right.
Also, Lurantis is hot.
Oh, yeah.
You get to punch Ensign in its stupid little face.
Oh, is that an Intimidate just for me? Smack.
Unfortunately, you don't want to Dynamax this, so you can't get max Knuckle boosts.
Yeah.
That doesn't work like you want it to.
Yeah. But honestly, with Palkia and Calyrex Ice, you are not lacking on Dynamax targets.
And Eliki, if you really need to, you can Dynamax this Urshifu. And if worse comes to worse, there's a Cofagrigus that knows Nightshade.
Yes, you can max Phantasm stuff. In all honesty, this Cofagrigus is really cool.
I love this team. It looks so cool on paper.
I will be interested to see like what your damage rolls are from like Zacian and things like that because you're fairly physically bulky if I'm right on Cofagrigus, right?
So like I said this last week on laddering, I don't do calcs when I play. I just play.
Yeah.
Because doing calcs and, math while you're playing is for, nerds.
Yeah, 145 base defense, 105 special defense.
Gosh, dang, that thing's bulky. 58 HP is kind of
sad, but the defense more than makes up for it.
Yeah, for sure. The fact that you have a pretty decent bulk, all things considered, is pretty okay.
Okay. So, +1, 252, Jolly, Behemoth Blade is 66 to 78% into this.
Basically, no bulk.
No defensive bulk.
Yeah.
It's like 52 EVs in defense and max HP. So, cool.
Neat.
That's actually a good thing to know.
And the fact that we're also like base 30 speed means that we underspeed quite a bit.
Even adamant means you're still not dead to just adamant 252.
That's actually really good.
Like you're really good to be able to get like off a Will-O-Wisp or whatnot. Just don't sit in front of Calyrex Shadow.
Yeah, can you pull that up for me? Is Cali Ice? I mean Cali Shadow. I just want to know how much.
Just don't.
Oh,
that's Life Orb.
Okay, so that means we're always dead to choice specs. We're not dead. You're saying there's a chance.
We are not dead to Sash. Okay, that's kind of cool. That's
also timid. So we're dead to Modest a non-zero amount of times?
Yeah. Which, if they're running Modest, they're in trouble.
Oh, fun fact, Modest is actually like
a
really favorable range.
Yeah.
Like 1
Who
in
knew?
16.
Who knew base 105 with good investment might get you there?
Huh.
So yeah.
Rodriguez, not the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
There you go.
Not the worst Pokemon I've ever played.
You also just have Urshifu to just beat it up.
I mean,
so
you just punch it in its stupid
you
little
just punch it in the horse face and it just goes down, right? So I like this team a lot. This team is very cool. If I remember right, they when they posted the tweet that it's a Zordor team too.
Yes.
So I'm not surprised by some of this stuff.
Zordor, very good team builder.
Yeah.
As the guy who's played many of their teams, very good team builder.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love playing Zordor teams. There's always some kind of crazy spice to it. So I'm super excited.
And, this is no exception.
Yeah, super excited to see you play this one.
Yeah, all things considered, this looks super sweet. All right, That's it.
I
Ship
think
it.
I'm about to say, yeah, I think that's all we got. This is one of the longer episodes because, again, we had 80 plus Pokemon.
Who knew? Talking about basically everything that's okay in some capacity takes a while.
Yeah.
And like the thing about it is like obviously there are Pokemon who are not on this tier list that probably could be in some capacity.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get yelled at in the comments for that, so I don't really care.
And that's what the comments are for. Again, if we didn't talk about your favorite Pokemon, comment down below.
We didn't talk about mine, so
I mean, we didn't talk about mine either, so.
Yeah, clearly Blaziken and Swampert are S tier, and anyone who disagrees is wrong.
There you go, bud.
Yeah.
At least Swampert saw like some Series 12 play. Like
Swampert gets Wide Guard, which makes it strictly better than everything Blaziken wants to do.
It's also water ground, so it's immediately better than most of the bulky water types.
Still worse than Gastrodon. Yeah.
Still worse than Gastrodon. Gastrodon's still really good with Storm Drain, but it's immediately better than most of these bulky water types.
Yeah.
If I had to put it somewhere, it'd still be in C with the bulky water types, but it'd probably be the top of the bulky water types.
Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, that's the team. That's the episode.
Yep.
We're out of here. Bye.
I mean, I guess, yeah, we could do it that way if you want.
Just cut it off there.
It's done.
Be like, all right, you all can figure out where we are.
Yeah, we've done this song and dance 125 times now. They know what we're doing.
But in case you haven't, you can always like, comment, subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. It really does help us. We hit 400 subs this week on YouTube, which that's just absurd.
That was our yearly goal, and now we have to come up with a new yearly goal.
So just shatter all of our goals and make us feel good about ourselves. That would be great.
Yep.
You can always leave a comment. No, Spotify and Apple don't have comments. They just have reviews.
Yeah, you could do reviews.
With Spotify, you can't even write a review. It's just yeah, here's a star rating to make you feel good about yourself.
5 star.
So yeah, go do that. That's awesome. We love it. Thank you. Past that, you can always come and join the community Discord. That's where you get to hang out with us and do all of our cool little things. Write in the the Discord and tell us that our tier list is bad, but why do that when you can write a comment and push the algorithm for us?
Yeah.
Go make us feel better.
Exactly.
If you're gonna yell at us, do it in a way where we benefit.
Exactly.
Go ahead and like us over on Twitter. Follow us there at LR Lessons. Myself at Mr. Missouri25. Carl's at MusicalVGC. Carl and I are both on Twitter as well. You can follow us there at Mr. Missouri25 and at Musical. And at Magnazone. Let's see. Go and follow us on the website at lrlessons.com. Go ahead and look over at the merch page. We should have some new merch going up for the invitational and stuff coming up this next week or so.
Yeah, that's something we just completely glossed over today because we did something else.
Yeah, we were busy.
Invitational is this weekend. Draft is also this weekend.
Yeah, player draft is this Saturday, so
it's like everything's Saturday. The invitational's that morning, and then we're gonna transition to doing the draft that afternoon.
So yeah,
as long as everything goes time wise, it should be fine.
It's gonna be a busy week.
Yeah, we got a lot to do.
And yeah, if you want to support us financially, you can always do so over at Anchor. That is down in the show notes. For as little as 20 or 25 cents an episode, you can make Carl buy another giant ring light.
Yeah. That way Carter has his own.
I do. I literally do. I paid less for mine than you did.
You have the 12-inch.
I don't care.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I still paid less for mine.
Well, yeah. So I have the 16-inch, and it's got all these fancy gizmos. I'm sure the 12-inch one does too.
Yeah, my little 8-inch one or whatever I have also has them.
My little whatever that one is, the middle one that I stole and I was originally using, doesn't have that.
That was it the one on the stand?
Yeah.
Yeah, see mine broke.
Yours was a little.
Yeah, mine just clamps to the top of my monitor and it's great.
Yeah. But now I have all these fancy colors and
I don't like it.
But yeah, it's got a lot of fun stuff to play with. Got a nice little remote. I don't have to reach for anything anymore.
Yep. It's great.
Yep.
Mine does not. My one on my monitor doesn't have a remote. It just has a button.
It doesn't have one of these?
Yeah, it has one of
Okay.
those. It doesn't have a remote though. But yeah, that's it. We're
I
out.
think that's everything.
All right. Have a good week, everyone. We will see you next week. Have a good one. Peace.